Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's reading for November 7th, 2022. This week, we're going to do a combination of a wood reading as well as using the Rebel deck for clarifiers. If you're not sure what a clarifier is, basically I'm going to do a wood reading right now, and then we'll draw a couple cards to basically clarify exactly the message that I had given with the wood reading. Now you're going to notice this is a wonderful piece of wood here, and it is birch. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on its side and show you all these different beautiful wood patterns on the edging here. And I remember exactly when I came into getting this wood from this tree, and there was a storm outside, and my neighbor's birch tree had just blown down, and she had the men come over and cut it up. And as they were cutting into pieces, I asked them, could I have a piece of that? And so I ended up getting two super large logs, which I had cut into these circular wood cookies. And so they're most amazing at doing these wood readings. And the one most wonderful thing I find about birch is the lightness. However, this piece has a lot of heavy energy with it, and mainly because when I was originally working on this piece, which has been a couple years ago from this tree, I was so tired and worn out when I was working on it. And I was actually angry and frustrated because I have to do this and I don't want to do this. Because I had a show coming up and I needed to get items prepped, and I was just tired and worn out. And so as I was working on this wood today, I remembered that time when I was tired and angry and worn out that came with this wood. And the wonderful thing about that is birch is all about new beginnings. And that's kind of what you can see is going on here in this picture. And it's so amazing to me how this looks like the symbol of a person standing here in contemplation, and they're looking down, contemplating their not life, but forgetting what's going on around them, as they're shedding these layers of shit that just doesn't serve them anymore. Just like the leaves fall off the trees in fall, we're shedding our layers this time of year. And as we're shedding those layers, we begin to go through enlightenment and receive messages from spirit when we don't have this old crap blocking us receiving these messages. But you can see this person is consumed by the storm out here. All these things are coming in and really distracting us from what is exactly going on is this enlightenment. And over here on this side, we have the eye of the storm that is happening over here, but we're so focused on everything else, we forget that as we move through this eye of the storm, we don't have to be the eye of the storm. We can be centered in ourselves and allow all these old patterns, all these things that aren't serving us anymore to be shed. And it's what is most amazing is as we're being bombarded by all these energies outside, especially with this full moon that's tomorrow, as well as the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, we're being asked to go inside into our heart center and have that hermitage, have those creature comforts these next couple days, really clearing out and releasing those things that aren't serving us. And I know, especially for me, this week, I have just been cleaning like crazy. Well, that's one thing that we do during the full moon is we release all those emotions that are up to the surface, all that anger, and there's just so much energy out there right now. So it's definitely a time to stay more at home, to do those creature comforts, to relax, to find our center, not to overwork ourselves, but to allow ourselves to shed our layers this week. So that way we don't become the storm. And self-care, self-care, self-care all week long. For sure, the energy is going to be intense until I really feel midday tomorrow going into Wednesday, but it is going to see a shift happening. It feels more like Friday. So just know that you can weather the storm and take this time to really go inside and do that deep dive and shed those layers, as well as purging stuff around the house that you don't need anymore. That is what I have found I have been doing all week, is just really nesting, like getting in, doing those creature comforts, making everything feel super great in my space, and just letting go of those old habits that I know that I need to let go of. You need to let go of, but you actually have to have the strength to do it. And you do. You do, as long as you do not become the storm. You just observe the storm and stay centered in you. And we're using that Rebel deck again, and I really felt like we all needed a dose of this snarky clarifier to go with this wood reading today. And here's our cards. So give me just a second. We're going to pull those out. So shuffle over here. And as I shuffle, I just set the intention. What do we need to hear or know for this week? All right. And as for our clarifiers, here they are. And you can see this first card is upside down. I always think of this being the past and this being more the present and future, but since we're doing it all for this week, they kind of got a culmination together. But the first one is, as is reversed, which means we need more of this. That project, that person, that idea is waiting. Get after that shit. The world has your back. Releasing those layers, letting go, and get to doing what you're meant to do and being your highest best self right now and not getting sucked up in the storm. Be fucking grateful. You know, I find that when we are grateful, we increase more of those things that we are grateful for. So if we are grateful that we have food on the table and a place to sleep, then we have more of those creature comforts to make even that place to sleep and that food on the table even much better. Just be thankful for the things we have so that we can increase that abundance around us. Shit could be so much worse. Take a shot. Don't take 12, take 1. Okay, maybe 2, and move on. Once again, shedding those layers, relax into it, allow it to happen, allow those things that aren't serving your highest and best true self to be gone. Relax into it and allow it to happen. And our last card for this week. Don't believe every shitty thought you have. Thoughts can be sneaky, lying bastards. Once again, staying true to your heart center. Don't believe that shit that's just randomly popping up into your head and act on it. This is not the time to act right now. This is the time to sit back, relax into the shift, allow the light waves to move through, allow the energy to move through, but don't become the energy. Just allow it to move through you and out of you, and trust the things that you are seeing with your own 2 eyes. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me here at this week's reading. If you would like a wood reading, you're more than welcome to book them on my website at www.theelemental1.com. And I appreciate you for joining me. Have a wonderful week.